Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Angelica here. If you're new, then come in, have a seat, have several seats, and if you're not new, thank you so much for having me all up on your beautiful, amazing screens. I've been interning this week, so I haven't had the time to edit any videos. This is the first video I'm filming. Actually no, I did a week in the life. Don't know when that will be out yet, but yeah, I've really been working, been busy. Ow! I just hurt myself, but we're gonna pretend like that didn't happen, okay? Okay. I've been on my own, trying to find my way home, This video is hopefully relevant for those of you who are applying to university this autumn, and if you're considering LSE, then you have made the right decision. You have made the best decision. So we're going to be discussing why LSE might be the university for you. So let me count how many reasons I have so I can make it punchy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 8 reasons why LSE might be the university for you. So the first one I have on my list is merit and academics. When I think about LSE, because obviously I'm at LSE and I've been at a certain other university before I came to LSE. When I think about LSE, the first thing I really think about is academic excellence and meritocracy. People don't get in here if they're not good enough, yeah? And no tea, no shade at other universities, but LSE selects the best candidates, not just by grades, but by personal statement, by their whole application holistically. And the fact that LSE is #1 for social mobility, some of you might not know, but LSE did receive the award for being #1 for social mobility. LSE cares a lot about the talent it brings in.
By the way, I'm wearing an LSE top, but I'm not endorsed by LSE. Let me not get myself in any legal trouble right now. I'm just wearing it because I couldn't find a better top to wear right now.
LSE social mobility in other universities. This was last year.
So the report actually says that if other institutions were to emulate the average effect of the contextualized admissions process at LSE, the number of entrants to high tariff institutions, so the elite institutions, could increase by as much as 3,500 every year.
The average efforts that LSE is doing, so this isn't even like the top band effort that LSE is putting in, just like doing average. The entries could increase by 3,500, which is a huge number. So LSE does have a long-standing commitment to recruiting students with the highest level of intellectual and academic potential regardless of our background. So that's definitely one reason I considered LSE. LSE has the lowest acceptance rate in the UK, and we are relatively a smaller university, but because of that fact, like, you would think that like LSE would be like super unreachable for many people, especially like from backgrounds like mine. You would not necessarily associate people from my area with top universities, but for some reason I had never thought that I could never go to LSE. Like, whereas for other universities, anecdotally, people who should be there, people who do deserve to be there, people who do get the grades aren't there, and I think that shows a fundamental problem with those institutions. And yeah, I'm not going to talk about that in this video. People around me, you know, my friends, our grades range between 4 A stars to A star AA on my course. Those are the grades that people I know have got. It's a challenging institution to be at. You're going to be learning incredible work from incredible leaders. If you're thinking about coming to LSE, a place that values you for your intellectual ability as opposed to your background or things out of your control, then come to LSE. Yeah, second reason why you might want to study at LSE is because it's the London School of Economics.
It's London, yeah? London.
If you want to study in a London university, then LSE is obviously a good university to start to consider. So because of its location, there's loads of things you can do as a student. So you can live the more cultured life and go to the theatre, go to art galleries. You can live the metropolitan lifestyle if you want to work. If you want to intern in the city, London is the place to be. Right down the road are the investment banks. Down the road is Snapchat and Google and law firms. Down the road, literally in our backyard, is the Royal Courts of Justice. So that's a really good place to be, you know, like it's literally right in central London. So if you want to live the London life, if you're not from the UK, or if you're not even from London in general, even if you're from London and you like London, then LSE might be for you. You might have realised that you don't want to go to Oxford or Cambridge, but you still want to go to a very top university, then LSE might be for you. I have a few friends who decided that Oxford wasn't for them and Cambridge wasn't for them. They just didn't like the universities. Some of them didn't apply, some of them did apply, got their offers and rejected Oxbridge for LSE. So if that's you and you really want to go to an outstanding university, LSE is usually ranked in the top 3. It's Cambridge, then Oxford, then LSE. I think for this year LSE is 3rd overall, but sometimes for different courses including law, LSE is sometimes ranked higher than Oxford and Cambridge. So I think that like when you get to the top universities, like where they are in the rankings, like once they're like top 5, it doesn't really matter which part of the top 5 they are, because they usually shift between each other. And there are many courses that LSE is number 1 for in the UK. So geography, LSE is number 1 in Europe for geography. So if you want to go to a top university but you're not too fussed about which university you're going to, and if you are fussed about which university you're going to, you want to come to LSE because of its reputation, that might be a reason to come. You get to really immerse yourself into your subject, and you get to learn from literally the best people in your field. So that's one reason to study at LSE. If you are interested in social sciences and humanities, then LSE is obviously the place. Like LSE is obviously the place to come to. It's obviously called the London School of Economics and Political Science for a good reason. So if you're interested in economics, history, languages, if you're interested in law, anthropology, sociology, government and politics, international relations, then of course LSE is the place to be. Why would you consider anywhere else? LSE is number 1 for what it does. You might have noticed I didn't mention the sciences, I didn't mention the engineerings. It's because LSE doesn't offer these subjects, which I think LSE has a good reason for not doing these subjects, because it realizes, yo, like this is our strength. So I think LSE has just decided to make a strategic move to stick to what it knows best. And that being said, I've always said if Imperial and LSE were to merge, oh my lord, credit me. If this ever happens, credit me. That would be a killer university. If you want to learn how to think critically, if you want to understand society as a whole and understand reasons for things, not just how they happen, but why they happen, what's going to happen in the future, why it's going to happen in the future, how we can learn from the past, then LSE is the place. The most important bit about LSE that I really love, if this is you, then LSE is probably the place for you. It gives you a holistic view of the world. So one thing I've noticed being at like other universities, some other universities are really academic, and yeah, like they teach you to love your subject. From my experience, I was expected to really love my subject and want to learn and read, but it didn't prepare me for life. Like it doesn't prepare you for the real world, you know. Yeah, you get to read loads of books, you know, all the books ever written by your subject, but LSE gives you a macro view of the world. It puts you in reality. So law right now at LSE is so relevant. Law in the LSE prospectus, I did read it out to you. It said that students learn that law is not a body of knowledge stored in libraries. It is a presence all around us. So in my personal statement, I wasn't just speaking about, oh, legislation this, legislation that, this book. Like I was speaking about how relevant law is in like everyday life. In economics, I can see law. In politics, I see law. In everyday conversations, in contracts, I see law. When it comes to the way my course is structured at LSE, LSE really has done bits to make it relevant. So I did half of property law in year 1. I did property in theory and I was learning about Bitcoin, like in property. I was learning about social media. All the data on my phone, who does it belong to? Obviously we have the LSE 100, which is a course that every undergraduate has to do. Basically learn to think critically. In first term, the module title was how would you redesign a democracy? In second term, the module title that we did, it obviously changes every time, by the way. If you come to LSE, yours probably will be different, but it will still be very interesting. The second term, the title of my module was should markets be restrained or unleashed? Like basically, should we have open markets or should we control markets? That's so interesting. Like no other university teaches you to be a social scientist in the way LSE does, because LSE really does care about its community, cares about what's going on in the world, and I think they equip you well so when you go into the real world you can apply things that you've actually learned, like in law as well. Apart from learning about Bitcoin, like you learn in public law about the EU, like Brexit. They really tailor it to what's going on in the world, and it really does change your worldview. Now on to the alumni. Yes. So the alumni at LSE is amazing. Oh my god, like amazing. I'm literally just realizing how many people actually went to LSE that I never knew. Like presidents upon presidents, prime ministers, like the first ever female prime minister of Barbados, she studied my exact same course at LSE. She studied law, LLB at LSE, and I didn't realise this. I went to an event the other day. I went to an event where the former Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria spoke. He also served as a United Nations officer for 17 years. He studied at LSE. He's running to be president of Nigeria. Hopefully, I really hope this guy gets it. He really deserves it. I found out the other day that amazing nationalist, first ever president or prime minister of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, really inspirational, studied at LSE. Loads of prime ministers. I found out my MP, or my former MP now, I found out she studied at LSE. So we have alumni in politics, policy, media, journalism, international development, corporate world. So if you're interested in commercial law as a solicitor or even as a barrister, if you're interested in investment banking, consulting, government, communications, even the arts. LSE alumni are spread over a wide range of careers. So if you want to study somewhere where people like that have walked on, people like that have sat in the building, it does really have an effect on me, because like seeing all these people that like were in my shoes that have gone to do great things, that has made me feel like I can do that. Like if they did it and they were here, then it's kind of like planted little seeds of belief. Going to LSE does have that effect on you, and it really does make you unstoppable. Now on to prospects. Of course, prospects are important. If you're someone that wants career stability and you want to basically have a guarantee that you'll be earning a good living, LSE is known to consistently have the highest paid graduates in the UK, and we have the highest amount of millionaires as well in the UK, I think Europe as well. So yeah, and maybe billionaires, I don't know if I'm stretching it now, but I feel like I read that somewhere. So obviously that's not the reason you go to LSE. You probably won't get in if you're only thinking about what you're going to be earning after you leave LSE, but that's one of the reasons. You know, your prospects are high. LSE is highly respected by employers, by the world, especially in the States as well. LSE is very respected, and in any country, in fact even Nigeria. Vice President of Nigeria studied at LSE. Yeah, if you're thinking about social mobility, you don't want to ever be held back by your background, then LSE is the place, because obviously it's highly respected and they really support you while you're here to be the best version of yourself. So you don't ever have to worry about like being bound by your background or being, you know, held back by the fact that you don't know people, because LSE gives you the resources that you need to succeed in life. Also, if you want to have friends that are going to be doing bits in the future, then LSE is probably a place that you should consider, because it's just nice to know that like a few years time, even right now, my friends are doing absolute bits. It's actually quite exciting to think about like in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, in fact 20 years, like how like the great things that my friends are going to be doing. It's actually really good to be able to say that like I have friends that are in the XYZ industry, and I know some of us are going to be presidents. It's just a reality. Some of us are going to be prime ministers. Some of us are going to be working at the United Nations. Some of us are actually going to be leading governments and leading countries, leading firms, CEOs of firms and partners at firms, so it's really nice actually and quite encouraging, because if you're in this environment, if you're surrounded by greatness, you have no other option but to be great yourself.
Of course, you know, some of us can go a little bit wayward.
The chances of you like falling off kind of less because you're motivated by the people around you. So that's one good reason to come to LSE. And the last reason is the community at LSE. It's very international here, so you get to meet so many people that you otherwise would never have met. And again, back to my point, like your friends are going to be doing bits. Like how better is that? Like if your friends are doing bits, it's good, but imagine them doing bits in another country. Obviously you have a permanent holiday home and stuff, but LSE does give you a chance to like experience so many cultures that you would never probably have heard about or learnt about, and to meet so many people. And I think just like the drive here at LSE is very diverse. So that's one of the things that makes LSE stand out to me. I'm not going to say like we have loads of black students here at LSE, because we don't, but LSE is doing bits. You know, there are black students at LSE, and I wouldn't say, of course there is a problem in universities of London, that's just a general problem. There's not as much coverage, but I think some people are actually quite obsessed with some other universities when it comes to calling them out for diversity. The diversity in London universities, don't let anyone kid you, like there aren't loads of black students here, but at the same time LSE is diverse. Like it's a very international university, so LSE does make effort in terms of recruiting students like me, students from my type of background. And the one thing that I want to end off is that LSE is known for like being really hard to get into, and we do have higher grade requirements than most universities. The point I want to end off with is that if LSE manages to be so diverse, still have really tough entry requirements, it's not the students' problem, because we are getting grades. It's probably the institution. If they're telling you that they can't find students who get the grades that like they want, even though LSE has higher grade requirements and we have, you know, we're doing better in terms of diversity, then you're probably the problem, you know, not the students. That's one thing I do want to end off with. LSE is an amazing institution. I'm so excited to go into my second year. Very diverse and we do very well. Of course we have very high requirements, but no one can say we're not getting the grades, you know. No one can say that underrepresented students aren't getting the grades. The issue is you, okay? So I will run off on that note. I really love LSE and I can't wait to start my second year. I'm really excited because I realise how fortunate I am. Those are 8 reasons why you might want to study at LSE if you're considering the London School of Economics and Political Science. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already connected with me on my other social media, then I don't really know if we're really friends. How can we be friends if you haven't got me on Twitter or Snapchat or Instagram? Get with the time. Definitely make sure you connect with me on all my social media accounts so I know we're really friends. Until the next video, bye. And once again, this was not an LSE sponsored video or anything. I literally am just wearing LSE's top.